Hello, my name's Kathy Bissell. Welcome to the Golf Show 2.0 at the U.S. Open with Gary Van Sickle and his insights into who's going to win, maybe. Maybe we should start with who's going to make the cut because it seems
I I think you meant to say keen insight.
keen insights. Pardon me, keen insights.
Well,
Your
we don't
first,
know who's going to make the cut yet, but
we have
the
a
cut
pretty good
line.
idea on some of them.
The fun thing is, I mean, here's how the U.S. Open's going, which is normal. Russell Henley has made a charge up in the top 12, mostly since he finished his round. So that's standard U.S. Open operating procedure. Everyone starts backing up. It started happening really the second half of the morning round yesterday, and then in the afternoon wave, the second half. And today, it's been everybody kind of out of the gate. Now, future Hall of Famer Tristan Lawrence, runner-up in the British Open last year, he started out his back nine par, birdie, 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 bogey, bogey, bogey. And that's on the
Well,
back nine, which is playing a couple shots easier than the front nine. So he hasn't gotten to the front at
the
the
hard
time of
part.
this recording, but that's Oakmont giveth and Oakmont taketh away. That's normal for the U.S. Open. There's been lots of weird shots out of the fescue, whatever you call this tall stuff, and
Oh, I don't know.
really,
Small stuff.
it's a good U.S. Open in the sense that today has been really utterly joyless, other than Victor Perez making a hole in one.
I saw
It's
a
slow
great
play and there's no joy.
I saw a great quote from Victor Hovland. Let me read it to you. I felt like a couple of times if it would have happened at another tournament, for example, I could have potentially lost my mind there a little bit. If that isn't the US Open, I don't know what is. You go out and you lose your mind. It's the conditions are so hard and the rough is so difficult and the shots are so hard and nothing stops on the greens and you're going, this is not what I signed up for. But
Well, here's how frustrating it is. Scottie Scheffler and his coach Randy Smith were on the range, which the media center overlooked. So
you
some
can
of us got
watch.
out. He was out there a long time, and early on, Scottie was kind of yelling at him
Oh,
because he was. We don't know what they were saying, but you could see he was having not words, but Scottie was frustrated. Something wasn't working, and he wanted to get it fixed. So
of course he does.
it was, it's a hot day here, by Pittsburgh standards, not by Texas standards, and it was a long, long, hard round, and yet Scottie Scheffler had the endurance and the drive to come out in the range and hit a ton of balls until they got something figured out, if they did.
Yeah, enough
So,
energy to yell
this
at
is how
his
you get to
coach.
be number one in the world. Is it's never good enough, and you want to fix every little thing. He's missed a few too many fairways. He's five over par, I believe. I wrote it down. I think he's
I have
five
to look,
over, so he's
to look at
he's
my
okay.
phone.
But he's going to have a low round on the weekend.
He's
He's going to
four
have to
over.
have a three or four under.
He's
Oh, he's
four
four
over.
over. Thank you.
Yeah,
He needs to get. Well, I mean, low is relative speaking, but it's supposed to rain the next 2 days, so he might need to shoot.
that could help.
Yeah, he might need to do a Sam Burns and shoot 65 to get himself back in it, or 66 at least, or whatever. So that's
Maybe
where
he
he
needs
is.
to.
He's not out of it, but he's in the he's not in the passing lane. He needs to get in the passing lane.
He needs to take Sam Burns to dinner and find out how Sam shot the 65.
He
Ask him
needs
what he
to
did. Well, the
take Sam
thing is, if he
Burns.
gets
He
some
needs to
rain,
take Sam Burns to dinner and kneecap him.
yeah. If it does rain, it makes the fairways wider because they're softer and they don't roll out
Yeah,
as
the
much.
scores will be better, except the guys who hit in the rough will do even worse because
Oh,
now it's long
worse.
and
Yeah,
wet. But that's their problem. But yeah, right.
yeah,
The fairways are wider, greens are softer, greens are bigger, play
yeah.
easier, and somebody could shoot. Sam Burns shot 65 on a hard day.
Yes,
With
that's
the
what that
rain
was
out
amazing.
here, Johnny Miller's 63 could be in play.
Well, apparently, because when I heard the Sam Burns shot of 65, I went, hey, that's just two shots off Johnny Miller's great round. Is there a lower score out there? And if so, how do you do it? Because nobody else is able to find a way. Um, Xander Schauffele's still on the course right now. Adam Scott's on the course. Keegan Bradley is on the course.
Oh,
And
yeah. Well, we need to talk about my
your
the
list of people. Yes.
fabulous preview I did the other day about my 10 players on the old Power Stick rankings that I made up out of thin air, along with a numerical value that didn't mean anything. But I had a lot of famous names on that list who were either dead and gone or in critical condition in the tournament. But I had Russell Henley and Keegan Bradley on that list. They rated high enough on the Power Stick to be in the mix here, and they're in it. So
you know who else is still in it? Considering the way he's played, he should be packing his bags and leave the course before he finishes. Is Rory McIlroy, and he still has a shot. He's at +8, and if he
+8, and the way things are directioning here, to use a word as a verb wrongly, it looks good for the cut to drop back to there. Oh, somebody else we should mention. Let's just talk about some of the guys who did not live up to expectations. How about I met with a person from Live this week, earlier in the week, and talked about whatever. And that person asked me, "Oh, you got to have Joaquin Niemann on your list, don't you?" It's like, well, no, I'll believe it. He's winning everything there, but I'll believe in the majors. I'll believe it when I believe it. Well, he's +10. He's down the road. He's not, and not. You can't make a generalization. Oakmont's a class by itself, but I'm going to say he's not a major championship quality player. He certainly is, but he hasn't figured it out at Oakmont or anywhere else yet.
No. Yeah.
But he certainly is getting in the. He knows how to win, and practicing winning is never a bad thing. So he's also practicing getting rich. Oh, and you discovered the find of the tournament that Jay Nicklaus is in the field.
Yes. He's in 75th place right now, and he's +7, so he'll probably make the cut.
And his father or grandfather was some kind of team doctor or some kind of of some kind. I should have done more research on that, but that's what Google's for. If you're watching at home, go ahead, have a field day. Justin Moe, 12 over, he's gone. Justin Thomas, 12 over.
A million over.
Shane Lowry, 14 over and counting. And I don't think he's going to catch my favorite player, George Dwagmany, who backed up his opening 86 with an 89 today. He was consistent. I would say the course was 3 shots harder today, so he pretty much proved it. And he is not going to move higher in the Power Stick rankings, but
probably not.
An effort for him for surviving 36 holes here at what is that, 175?
I don't.
175. He shot 175. Could I beat that? Could I beat that score here? No, I could not.
Here's another good quote. John Rahm. I didn't play bad. I played quite good golf. Didn't see anything go in besides a 7-footer. Honestly, I'm too annoyed and too mad right now to think about any perspective. I bet he is.
And that certainly made me want to ask him a question. You're really mad. Well, why don't I think of something so you can bite my head off? Yeah, why don't you? But, unlike Rory, he stopped to talk. So that's okay. It's not hard. All you have to do is say
it is hard, and I give him credit for doing it when they do it. It's not
hard. You stop and answer 2 questions and say, I'm really ticked off, and I'm really hungry, and I'm sorry, that's all I want to do today, and maybe tomorrow will be a better day. And we all know how it is. I mean, yesterday, Patrick Reed, despite making an albatross, was incredibly snippy. And some people, if you read the transcript from that, people are, wow, why would he do that? It's like, well, he triple bogeyed his last hole of the day.
Oh, that'll do it.
Now, golf writer rule is if a guy doubles or triples his last hole, whatever you want to ask him can probably wait. So he could have cared less about his albatross and in his interview he was snippy and he could have done a little bit better. But you're a golfer. This is your livelihood.
Yeah,
we understand that, and I'm not one of Patrick Reed's biggest fans, but I will understand that. Yeah, you blew up in the last hole. That's makes you go to dugout steaming mad. So we get it.
And you just, speaking of dugout steaming mad, last hole, you just won your senior country club championship.
Senior club championship. Yeah, well,
Congratulations.
uh, in a nutshell, everyone else played even worse than I did. So
It
I'm not
just doesn't matter.
say,
You were the
yeah,
last.
boy, was I
It's just
good.
like
It's
in the
like
U.S. Open. You were the last man standing, and just
it was
like your club
attrition. It was a
championship.
war of attrition, and somehow I attritioned less than the other guys, but I didn't.
Is that a verb?
I didn't distinguish myself. I nearly tried to extinguish myself. So that's all we need to say about that.
But you didn't, and you're here to talk about it.
Yeah, well,
Who else had
I've
it?
won 3 of the last 4, but nobody cares. That's all right. It's senior golf.
Sam Burns said.
You happen to be able to go 18 holes at this point.
Sam Burns said the speed of these greens, with how much slope is in them, that's what makes them very difficult. I'm trying to be really patient and take what the golf course gives me. He's the only one who's getting anything from the golf course, because the golf course is not giving anything to anybody else, from what I can see. How about you?
You got to hit it close, and to do that, you got to be in the fairway. And some of these fairways are tilted so much, like 12 and 15 and 13, not 13. Well, there's two examples, and you got to hit it in the far corner of one side, and then it rolls down to the other.
So what the
So
idea
you miss it by a
is
foot,
to
you wind
try
up,
and hit it so it goes in at an angle like that, and that takes the speed off of it. Is that correct?
Yep. Well, there's very little graduated rough. There's one little thin strip,
Yeah.
and then you're right into the bad stuff. That's the difference this year. You miss the fairway, you're not in the first cut, as the masters like to say. You're in the jungle.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes,
a fine line between a good, you miss by a foot, you're dead. So that's why, you can have a course that's too hard, that negates ability of the best players. And I don't know if that's why we're seeing so many of the top 15 players in the world not be in contention. But this is something the USGA did in the 70s and 80s, knee-jerk reaction at Johnny Miller's 63. They went on a 2-decade bender of making the courses impossible. And they took a lot of guys, there was a lot of chipping back to the fairway, which is not exciting golf, and it doesn't allow the best players to separate themselves. And so you had some unexpected winners over the years. You can go back to Luke Graham is one of them. And maybe that's what's happening here, or this is just Oakmont playing hard.
I think it's
any of these guys who win may turn out to be somebody who wins 4 majors. We don't know. So I'm never going to somebody who wins a U.S. Open, but they've taken away all chipping and pitching around the green. It's everybody's just trying to guess and gouge.
And it costs you a shot if you're in the rough.
Yeah, chipping and pitching is 2 things that allow Jordan Spieth and Scottie Scheffler, for example, to separate themselves. There is no chipping and pitching this week, so that's been taken away from Scottie Scheffler completely. So,
here's somebody that's going to surprise you that is not missing the cut by a gigantic number of shots. Phil Mickelson right now is 5 over.
Yep.
What if Phil Mickelson wins this tournament? That would really be something.
Well,
I don't think there's a chance.
Said, I'll believe it when I believe it, but
okay,
it would be cool if he made the cut in what is probably his last Open. But
I think he will.
Maybe he can finish in the top 10 and come back next year.
That's
He's not
true.
that far out of the top 10. He's only a couple.
Well, he's 43 right now. But a bunch of these people are going to go away. So
yeah, but he's probably only 3 or 4 shots out of the top 10.
Yes, absolutely.
10th place. I mean, that's totally doable.
He's at 5 over, and Adam Scott is in 7th place at 1 over. So that's 4 shots over 2 days. That's nothing.
Well,
Who else is
I think we should answer some big questions before we get out of here, and without
it?
further
Okay,
embarrassing ourselves, if that's possible.
we try to do our best.
And Sam Burns or Tristan Lawrence win the U.S. Open? Do you think? Yes or no? Can they?
I think Sam Burns can. Just has a lot of talent. And I don't know that much about Thurston Lawrence. You said he was second in the
He
British
was
Open,
runner-up in the British Open last year.
and Ernie Els likes him and says he could win it. So if Ernie Els says he could win it, either A, he's being polite, or B, he could win it. Because Ernie's not going to say that about somebody. He doesn't suffer fools. He would say, "Oh, he's got a nice game. He's this. I saw him play blah blah blah," or whatever it was. But if Ernie says he could win it, you got to take a look at the guy.
Well, you never know. Golfers could be like authors. If you're looking for a book to buy and you look in the book jacket on the back and the book is highly recommended by another author, they just write whatever they need to write for their buddy. Now, if it says, if you get a recommendation from the New York Times or Kirkus Reviews or somebody, there's more credibility there. But I don't disagree. Both those guys have shown legit. If you can survive 36 holes here,
yeah.
Why can't you do 36 more? Now, I should have thrown J.J. Spawn in there, Spawn of the Dead.
I think
another guy. He really won the Players, so I think he's legit too.
He's legit, but I just don't think he'll get it done. And I hate to say that about anybody, but
there's a long ways to go. So who do you like? Who do you like to win right now?
Right now, off of the list of people who are there, I still like Xander Schauffele and Scottie Scheffler, and with a nod to Colin Morikawa, and watch out for Jon Rahm. And they're all
I like, Morikawa's a good one. Scheffler's a good one. I'm not ruling out my power stick guys, Henley and Keegan, though, who would both be surprises. But, Henley's like number 7 in the world. So he gets underrated. But we'll see. The pressure here is different. But
there's an outside chance for Adam Scott.
Yep, there is.
So, that would be wonderful for him at this stage of his career.
Well, it's supposed to, the forecast is for showers Saturday and Sunday morning.
Okay, who's a good mutter?
Chance of thunder showers Saturday and Sunday afternoon.
Who's a good mutter?
So if there's thunder, if there's lightning, they're not going to be playing at all.
But afterwards. He's not going to play lift, clean, and place.
No. So I don't know. It's a fool's errand to try to pick a winner when we don't know the weather, and the second round's not done, and we didn't want to wait any longer because it's going to be another 3.5 hours.
I know. Well, we'll be lucky if they get it in today.
If this was when the women's majors take this long to play, they get all kinds of criticism for slow play.
Yeah.
We know why the play is slow here. It's Oakmont, but this is just as slow as some of the women's majors that have been criticized. And I don't hear anybody saying, well, what a load of crap this is. These guys are playing too slow. It took Tristan Lawrence, I don't know how long to play the 12th hole. He had to wait 20-some minutes on the tee and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
This is, the thing about pace of play, when it gets this bad, it's hard to watch. It's hard to stay interested. And there's a number of guys in the media room that's like, I don't even feel like doing anything today. Yeah, because it's happening at a snail's pace.
Yeah.
And if the team where they can switch around to shots maybe and keep the pace going, but
you need somebody to come along and beat on the riders to keep them awake.
Oh, God, I think maybe it's time to hit the bar and get some space.
Okay, well, tomorrow we'll be closer. We'll have a top 10 or something we can pick from. We can pick a winner. I wonder if we'll agree.
Oh, no doubt.
You think?
What haven't we agreed on?
I don't know. Usually you don't agree with me and you give me one of those, Jane, you ignorant.
Well, my power stick rankings have launched and captivated the world and taken it by storm. So you're probably jealous, but that's okay.
I am. I am jealous, but that's all.
All
I'll
right.
get it right. All right. Bye bye.
Tune in again next time if you dare.